and rightly so, because evolution is used in order to sort of project an atheist worldview. However, I've made the distinction between chemical and biological evolution. So people think the Big Bang Theory supports evolution, but no, it does not support biological evolution. Big Bang Theory has nothing to do with Darwinism. Darwinism is a theory about life. Big Bang Theory is a theory about the universe. It's about the development of inanimate matter, not animate matter. Okay, so there are two different topics, and we have to make the distinction between those two different topics. And when I support the Big Bang Theory, I'm not supporting Darwinian evolution, because they're two different things, very different things. Secondly, the Big Bang Theory, when Fr Leimaitre rolled back the clock and saw how much time it would take to compress the universe to a single point, he found that it would take 13.7 billion years. And people are like, whoa, well, that's just what evolution wants, because evolution relies on time. The evolutionists need lots of time. And I say, okay, that's true. They need lots of time, but they also need something else. They need to specify a cause that's working in time. So if I give the evolutionists, for instance, 4 billion years, it's estimated the Earth is 4 billion years old. If I give them 4 billion years, they've got to give me laws of nature that we would expect non-living things to turn to living things in those 4 billion years. And it turns out that we can run these numbers now, okay? We know what's necessary for life. Every single living thing relies on the cell. And one of the major components of cells is the protein. Proteins are made of amino acids. There's 20 different types of amino acids. It's only left-handed amino acids that are used in the cell. So amino acids must be put together in a very specific sequence in order to form a protein. And so we can run the numbers as to what are the chances, if you just have random interaction of matter, for there to be a single formation of a single protein. If you give the evolutionists, if you say we take all the particles in the universe, 10 to the 80th power particles, if you have them interact 10 to the 43 times each second, and you take 10 to the 17 seconds since the universe started, if you give them all those interactions, what are the chances of getting a single protein? Chances are 1 in 10 to the 24th power, which, your chances are much better with the Powerball, a lot better. Okay, so it's effectively zero. There's no chance. There's no chance. So there's no scientific data that should compel us to believe in biological evolution, whereas there is scientific data to compel us to believe in the Big Bang. They're two different topics. All right, let's look at the reactions of the Big Bang Theory, and to get back to our theme as to the effect of your worldview on reality and the conclusions that you draw, and whether reality is lightsome or darksome. So we'll see the reaction of the atheists, of the Protestant fundamentalists, and of Catholics. First of all, the atheists, I've got Robert Jastrow here. He was an American astronomer, NASA astronomer. He died a few years ago. He died an atheist. But he expresses in one of his books, The Enchanted Loom, something like that. And he speaks about the reaction of the atheists to the discoveries of the Big Bang Theory. He says, for the scientist who has lived by his faith in the power of reason, the story ends like a bad dream. He has scaled the mountains of ignorance. He is about to conquer the highest peak. As he pulls himself over the final rock, he is greeted by a band of theologians who have been sitting there for centuries. Okay? So you're doing science, you're asking the universe, you reveal your godlike attributes to me, and when you get to the end, the universe is saying, I was created in time. I was created in time. And they're like, oh, So did Robert Jastrow become a believer? Did he become a theist? No, he died an atheist. He died an atheist. Why? Because of his commitment to empiricism, to this idea that sense data alone it gives true knowledge, and therefore he committed himself to irrationality. He willfully shut down his own reason. He refused to accept the implications of his own science. Science was so clearly pointing him in a certain direction. He refused for reality to teach him because of his worldview. It's really tragic. So how do atheists deal with the Big Bang Theory? What can you do when science and the universe are pointing you in this direction? Well, they have to get really irrational. I mean, they have to make themselves look totally ridiculous in their explanations, right? And this is something we got to point out to them. We got to point out to them that you are making science look ridiculous. You are making your faith seem to be more superstitious than any faith that has ever existed in the history of mankind. Two ways they try to get around the Big Bang Theory. One is the multiverse theory. This is the idea that somehow there's universes are being generated all the time. Universes just pop into being all the time and with different configurations. And we just happen to have the lucky universe. The universe that's really the Goldilocks universe, you know, it's just not too hot, not too cold. But this is not scientific. This is total ideology. Because if there are other universes, by definition, we cannot know it. Because if you wanted to get to that other universe, if you wanted to get data from it, how would you get it? Because it's separate from our universe, right? Okay, so they're just making this up. Besides, where do these universes come from? All right? And then, I'm not making this up. I mean, this is the title of this book. I read this book, and this is one of the reasons why I love Chapter 9. I mean, because I get to make fun of this guy. I mean, he deserves it. I mean, he really deserves it. I try not to make fun of a lot of people, but, I mean, there's a certain Schadenfreude there. Maybe I'm not the healthiest, but I did enjoy it. I'm sorry. So he says that the laws of nature demand that universes spontaneously pop into existence. I'm just like, really? I mean, you want me to respect you as a man of logic, of reputability, as a scientific authority, and you're trying to tell me the universes spontaneously pop into existence? I mean, give me a break. Yeah. If this theory were true, science would not be possible. You're destroying your own science. Because we wouldn't know, I mean, if this thing was caused or if it just spontaneously popped into existence, we wouldn't be able to give a cause for anything, would we? We wouldn't be able to know if it just popped into existence. It's like sitting there and nothing. It's like, man, I'm so bored of being nothing. You know, man, talk about not having a life. Let's have some being around here, you know. So here he is, Lawrence Krauss. By the way, he believes that children should not be taught religion because he believes it makes them feel guilty. And so he lobbies for the elimination of religion from schools, you know. And he's considered reputable in his own field, in the field of physics. And I'm saying to the scientists, look, this makes you look really, really bad. This makes you look much worse than the worst of the religious believers.